Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, excuse me, whatever you want to call me, and I am back. This is a brand new What If. What if Tanjiro was the god of lightning? And if you guys enjoy, please show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below. Sorry about that intro. I don't know why, I just got the hiccups out of nowhere. That was weird. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. And I don't want to waste much more of your time, and I want to get right into it. So make sure to check the links in the description, Discord, Spotify, membership, all that good stuff if you want to check those things out. And now with that said, I want to get right into the what if. So let's get it. This story starts a little bit differently than normal. The reason why Tanjiro actually gets the powers that he gets is because of his mother and father. His mother and father are hoping, praying for a child, a young boy that would be, the oldest of the bunch. And obviously he's not coming. Like, he is not showing up. She cannot get pregnant. She cannot have a kid right now, and just nothing is working. So one day, while the rain is pouring outside, she walks outside just to console herself, and she begins thinking about how she just wants a child that can be hers, a child that she can hold, and a child that can truly be great, and a child that can be powerful and that can stand up for himself, and so on. And eventually, she would hear a lightning strike and thunder in the distance, or really thunder and then a lightning strike, and she realizes that maybe there is a chance, maybe there is a world where she can have a kid, and that is exactly what ends up happening. From here on out, everything goes exactly the same. Tanjiro Kamado is born, so is the rest of his siblings, but he is born in a different way. He is born through lightning itself, and they don't know anything about this for a while. They're just thinking it was just a coincidence, but it wasn't. Tanjiro was basically embedded with the powers of the lightning god himself, and they have no idea that this actually happened, but it seems as if the gods above realized the pain that Earth was going through, or the planet that is, beneath them that they are watching over. They realized that there were issues with Earth and issues that were going on, and they gifted Earth a protector. They gifted Earth a user of an actual power of lightning, but even more than that, creating a god of lightning. And this right here is something that nobody would have expected, and nobody did expect for a very long time. All the way up until Tanjiro is older, he doesn't see any aspects of this. Yes, does he feel some sort of connection to the weather itself and all this stuff? Yeah, to an extent, and he's a lot faster than everyone else and a lot quicker and stuff like that. But overall, he's never gotten the feeling that he had some sort of control over lightning. That's until he actually sees his family, gone. His family destroyed, and only his sister is living. The pain and suffering that he feels in this moment awakens his powers, and he can feel the lightning coursing through his veins. He darts in a matter of a split second to save his sister, grabs her and runs off with her. But as he does, she would be fully turned into a demon and begin attacking him. Tanjiro would grab her and hold her down, and would actually shock her with lightning that he is coursing through his body. Now, it doesn't hurt her, but it does make her kind of wake herself up and calm down. But as this is happening, everything that occurs with Giyu Tomioka showing up still ensues. Giyu shows up, attacks, and tries to help out with the two of them, but eventually realizes that Tanjiro has some untapped potential, but also on top of that, sees that Nezuko actually is trying to protect her brother, leading to him going off to Urokodaki and eventually meeting with him after defeating a temple demon with Nezuko. After that defeat, he meets up with Urokodaki, and Urokodaki quickly, within the training in the first couple months, realizes Tanjiro is a special child that has powers beyond his own imagination, because he starts swinging his sword around And when he does, it starts channeling lightning itself. The sword itself, being that it's not a Nichiren blade, shouldn't show any aspects of anything, like he is somehow utilizing lightning breathing or thunder breathing or anything along those lines. But it seems like it's showing an effect. Even when he utilizes a wooden sword, it is giving off an effect. His speed is unheralded. It is ridiculous. His speed is on a totally different level. And as he adds kind of a breathing style to this, being that of water breathing, it seems to perfectly mesh with this lightning-like powers that he actually has. And it seems to Urokodaki that he is different, that he is some sort of vessel to this powers of lightning, almost like he is the god of lightning itself. He can't wrap his head around it, but he truly sees that the kid is something different, and he gives it his all. He teaches Tanjiro everything he possibly knows, even teaches him techniques that he normally wouldn't know in the first place. It seems like Tanjiro's ability to utilize lightning and or whatever he is in terms of deity allows him to learn and kind of comprehend things a lot quicker, being that he can now learn and also teach himself things a lot quicker and in succession. Tanjiro learns water breathing to its fullest extent, but also learns how to utilize concentration breathing constant and so much more. Urokodaki is beyond impressed, especially when he slices through the boulder with ease, leading him to the final selection after training with Sabito and Makomo, or the spirits of them. And when the final selection begins, all people can see is a streak of lightning darting across the entirety of the area. One after another, the demons would fall, and quickly, even Kanao would take notice that this person, whoever this is something totally different. And when he stops, after slaying all the demons within the forest, well, let's just say they look at him, and they just see the sparks, the lightning, and everything coming across him, and Tanjiro turns his head and sees one boy, one kid, and he immediately walks over to him. He puts his hand on his shoulder, and it seems to be a kid by the name of Zenitsu. He would shake Zenitsu's hand and says that it seems to him that they have some sort of connection, and he believes that they'll be friends very, very soon. And he taps Zenitsu on the head, and Zenitsu wonders, what is he talking about? What's going on? And what's happening? But Zenitsu, he doesn't feel anything, doesn't feel any different, and Tanjiro tells him that eventually they will speak again and they will see each other again, and it will be very soon, sooner than he imagines. And after all the demons are slayed and the final selection is over, Tanjiro would leave, he would get his Nichiren ore and leave, and he would meet up with Urokodaki once again. And when he meets up with him, and when all that stuff happens, when he would eventually get his sword, he would see that his sword is black. Now, this is when he would learn that normally users of a black weapon or a black sword, well, they don't normally survive. And Tanjiro thinks about this and thinks, why would that be the case? But Urokodaki would tell him that don't worry about all these negatives. Think about it like this. You are something different. You are different than any student that I've ever taught, have ever trained. It is obvious that the lightning that you hold is having an effect on the sword's color. And he tells him to pick it up and channel the lightning through it, just like how he did with even basic swords. And Tanjiro would do just this, and it would turn the entire blade into a lightning bolt. And as he does this, he would basically put his hand through it, and Urokodaki's like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, are you crazy? In which Tanjiro tells him that the lightning won't hurt him. And as he does, the lightning doesn't. His hand just phases straight through it, and Tanjiro's in shock. It seems that the lightning itself absorbed the Nichiren, and he would then look at the hilt, and the lightning would disappear, and the ore would be gone. Immediately, Urokodaki's like, well, did you even need the Nichiren in the first place then? In which Tanjiro shrugs his shoulders and says, I have no idea. Well, it probably is best to utilize it just in case. But Urokodaki says that he's going to have challenges, right? He's going to have things that are going to hold him back as he progresses, but to truly hold himself to a higher standard and push himself to a degree that he knows that he can get to, and he truly believes that he will be a demon slayer that will make one hell of a difference. And Tanjiro would then go off on his first mission. And when he would face off with the Swamp Demon for the first time, or would face off with his first demon, like true demon as a demon slayer, the Swamp Demon would be terrified of him. It's not because of the memories, it's not because of anything like that. But Tanjiro pulls out that sword and he starts utilizing a lightning blade sword, and he starts freaking out. The demon's like, what is that? How is he doing that? And Tanjiro sends strikes across the way towards the demon that slice him into pieces, and the electric shock of the lightning would basically hold him still as the rest of his body would disintegrate. And Tanjiro would look at him and could tell that there was some insane fear pumping through the eyes of him, because it's pretty obvious that, well, whatever Tanjiro is, it's different than anything anyone has ever seen, and it scared this demon senseless. And Muzan, well, let's just say when he meets him for the first time, it's not much different, because Muzan sees him, and can tell that he is something different. There's something pumping through the veins of Tanjiro Kamado that is so different than any other human, any other demon slayer that he has ever encountered and ever come across in his entire life. I mean, yes, Yorichi is terrifying. Yorichi puts the fear of everything within him, and don't get me wrong, that is still definitely the case, but it's nothing to even put past him that this person just showed up, and somehow, some way, his abilities, his strength is beyond anything that he has really seen outside of Yorichi. His aura, everything that he's giving off is borderline divine, as if he is a god himself. Muzan immediately would try his best to get away, and he would get away, turning a man into a demon, and Tanjiro knows better to actually hurt him or do something crazy, but he would throw a bit of a lightning like attack towards Muzan, and as he does, it would kind of put a kind of location on him that Tanjiro can basically sense. And before you know it, he's meeting with Lady Tamayao and Yushiro, and they begin talking about curing his sister Nezuko. And in terms of an eventual fight with Susumaru and Yahaba, that never happens. Muzan doesn't even think about it. He is just gone. Fear has struck him to a different degree, and he sees something in that boy that he doesn't want to admit. So he goes away and leaves before things, go, too crazy, and decides that it's best if he just leaves it as is, believing that he doesn't want anything to do with that Tanjiro Kamado kid, and he doesn't want anything to do with a fight with someone like that, especially even leaving other demons up to fight him. But Tanjiro would get a lot of information from Lady Tamayao, would learn about being a demon and stuff along those lines, and she believes that whatever he is could also be potentially a cure for the demons themselves, in which that is something they'll have to speak about later on. But he does give a sample of his own blood just in case, and when basically Lady Tamayao kind of smells the blood, she has a hard time herself restraining herself. She's like, I don't know what is pumping through your veins, but the demons will definitely find it to be savory in terms of wanting to get it, but also that she says that she can tell that his blood comes from a different time, a different measure, and a different power, because it is not the typical human blood that pumps through his veins, and that blood itself could help save his sister, in which Tanjiro thanks her and appreciates both of them and what they're doing, and tells them that basically they will be in touch very soon, and to stay away from hurting humans, just in case. In which they would say, yeah, you got it. I mean, we're not going to hurt nobody. Obviously, we've been, hiding away for a while and this and that. And eventually Tanjiro would leave with Nezuko on his back and would eventually come across Zenitsu. And as Zenitsu sees him and as Tanjiro would pull him off, he would tell the boy to calm down, take a breath. And as he says this, Zenitsu is like, oh, I feel so much calmer now. Like, I don't feel insane. I don't feel scared. I don't feel anything. And Tanjiro basically taps him on the shoulder and basically tells him that now they're going to go and work together. They're going to fight together and they're going to get better together. And it seems as if they're going to be, you know, they're going to be partners. They're going to be side by side. They're going to fight alongside each other, and they'll make sure to have each other's backs. He would then pat him on the shoulder or on the back, and then even grab Zenitsu's sword by the actual blade. And as he does, he picks it up and gives it towards Zenitsu, and sparks would even come off and would basically surround the blade itself. Zenitsu's in shock, thinking, how did he do that? I don't get it. And Zenitsu, well, he realizes that he feels a lot better. Not that he's not scared, and not that he's not, like, you know, fearing, you know, dying, but he feels better in the aspect of, like, he feels stronger. He doesn't know how it happened, but for some reason, he feels more powerful. He feels greater. He feels faster. He doesn't know how or what he did, but whatever Tanjiro Kamado did, he changed him entirely and changed something within him that he will never, ever forget. And the kind of realization of this would happen when they head off to the nearby mansion to save basically the brother of two little kids. Because this is when they would save him very easily. The fight against Kyogai would be short work, and Tanjiro would make an absolute joke of him combining water breathing with his lightning-like abilities, or his lightning abilities in general, outspeeding everything and everyone in this mansion. But he would listen closely, hearing the thunder, the lightning sparking from Zenitsu as Zenitsu fights, and he could tell Zenitsu has already has already passed and kind of trespassed into something different now. His connection to thunder breathing and lightning itself has awakened something within him that has made him a greater demon slayer. Now, yes, does he have to sleep? For sure. But it also amps up his first form, the only form he could utilize, to a degree that has never been seen before, and still hasn't been, because Tanjiro only sensed it. He never saw it with his two eyes. But eventually they would come across Inosuke, and Inosuke, you know, he would do his whole thing, but Tanjiro would kind of stop him by shocking him with some lightning and tell him, like, to, you know, chill the F out. And eventually they kind of group up as a three-man party, and they head off. But this same moment will be a moment that Zenitsu will never forget, because it's a moment that made him kind of trespass into every little bit more that thunder breathing has to offer. This sensation of believing and a sensation of understanding and knowing what to do in terms of the other forms of thunder breathing. I mean, it begins to tell him kind of how to utilize them the way he wants to utilize them. But then he realizes something. He could do that. He might be able to learn the other forms, but why did it take him so long? Why did it happen this way? And he realizes it happened because of Tanjiro. Tanjiro Kamado awakened Zenitsu in a way that he can't imagine. And before you know it, they would be on another mission together, going to Mount Natagumo. And Zenitsu feels way, 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 way better about helping out. And he actually is side by side with Inosuke and Tanjiro. And he doesn't have to even go to sleep, close his eyes, or even pass out and lose control. No, he is fully aware, at least to an extent, but he allows the lightning coursing through his veins to truly take control. And he begins to absolutely put on a clinic, slaying a multitude of demons. The Mother Spider Demon, you know, the Sun Spider Demon, and even helps with the Father Spider Demon. And after all of them are slayed, it would be the three of them facing off with Rui. But frankly enough, Tanjiro would be the only one that truly was needed here. And Tanjiro would absolutely outclass Rui with the speed of lightning itself. And Zenitsu would be beside him as well, speeding next to him too. Not to the same degree, but Zenitsu is feeling the power kind of like just overwhelming him, or at least exceeding what his expectations would ever be. And Tanjiro would slay Rui very quickly, and would not even kind of create or not even show up utilizing sun breathing at all, or the Hinokami Kagura, which is interesting to think about. But it seems as if kind of sun breathing is voided for him, because of his connection to the lightning god himself, or being the lightning god himself. But Zenitsu knows that whatever Tanjiro is doing, whatever has been going on, he is going to be the reason why he can get stronger, why he can get better. And Inosuke sees this, and he says he wants to get better. He wants to get stronger, and he wants to do things like Tanjiro and Zenitsu and be even more powerful. And Tanjiro just tells him that he just has to get more powerful. He has to get stronger. He has to work harder, and eventually he will get to that place. He will get to that point. And, well, let's just say when they go and eventually, you know, the whole situation with Nezuko, and Tanjiro occurs, they would head back to the Hashira mansion. They would get absolved of like, you know, all the things that occurred, and they would still get trialed and stuff like that. But eventually they would be allowed to be demon slayers. And Tanjiro would tell them that this whole cuffing, or this whole, like, you know, he's stuck, and or they kind of tied him up. This is all just a foregone kind of, like, he let them do this, in which the Hashira, some of them, especially like the Wind Hashira, kind of laugh at him, like, yeah, sure, you let us do it. And Tanjiro would then disintegrate the kind of the ropes, and he would tell them that he is different than that they would believe. He is not your typical human. He is not the person you think he is, and he is not the weakling that they believe he needs to be. And if you want to prove that, we can prove that right now. And he tells the Wind Hashira that he is very capable, very impressive, and awesome on very many degrees. But the thing is, you're never going to be me. In which, obviously, Ubuyashiki shuts this down, saying that there will be no challenges here. They're all on the same side. But the Wind Hashira asks Ubuyashiki to allow him to fight this demon slayer, and he will put even his Hashira title on the line. But Ubuyashiki would shut this down again, telling them no, they will not act like children and squabble over meaningless things. Tanjiro Kamado is a demon slayer, and he will be treated with the utmost respect. And he also expects Tanjiro to treat others like the Hashira with the respect they are due as well. Tanjiro would then apologize and take a knee, and he would say that he truly does apologize and didn't mean any foul words, or didn't mean anything incorrectly. And he let his emotions get the best of him. The Wind Hashira would apologize as well, and Tanjiro would then ensue in basically telling them that his powers, his abilities are different than theirs alone. Their techniques, yes, they are amazing, they are perfected, and they are beautiful. But Tanjiro, he tells them that he was gifted the power of the lightning god himself, or is the lightning god himself, allowing him to create lightning in all of his attacks, and even utilize a sword with a lightning blade attached to it. They ask him, like, what even is that? Is that just lightning somehow surrounded by the Nichiren blade? But he tells them that there is no blade there anymore. The lightning absorbed the Nichiren, and is now basically, this is his weapon, just the hilt, showing off how he can basically control the lightning, and even control it in a way to make it bigger, shorter, and or kind of faster than normal and stuff along those lines. And he says that as well, that those who have thunder breathing, or some sort of connection to lightning, or even nature itself, might have some sort of like connection to him too. And he looks toward the Wind Hashira and says that he hopes that one day they can be friends, because he believes that the Wind Hashira has a connection to lightning the way Zenitsu does, just not as effective as the other ones are. And Tanjiro looks towards the rest of them and says, everybody has a certain amount of connection to the lightning itself, but it doesn't mean you have a perfected connection, not the way that Zenitsu does. Believing that, and Tanjiro says it outright, that Zenitsu will surpass them quicker than they could imagine. In which, obviously, a lot of them would be like, well, we don't know who Zenitsu is really, we don't know this, we don't know that, but saying that someone will surpass a Hashira that quickly seems out of the ordinary. Almost seems like kind of incoherent, like he's insane. But Tanjiro makes it clear that he has already surpassed many of them, if not all of them, but they will soon understand what he means when a connection to the lightning, or what the connection to lightning truly means for someone like Zenitsu. And this would lead them to kind of eventually, just being like, okay, whatever, like start your training and stuff like that. And Tanjiro would do that, would begin training, preparing, and just trying to get himself to a different level, like trying his absolute best, even pushing Zenitsu to a different level as well, where Zenitsu unlocks a kind of brand new form that he has personally created, other known as his kind of 7th form, right? His final form that he created, the God Fire Thunder. Now, this is obviously a combination of his God Speed too, the whole technique that he's created, but both of them have already been created because of the connection that Tanjiro and Zenitsu have to the lightning and thunder itself, leading to Zenitsu being very, very powerful early on, and Tanjiro himself pushing himself beyond expectations, to the point where his strength is ridiculously powerful as well. Now, in terms of the Mugen Train, Tanjiro would not actually participate in that kind of that manner, and obviously Akaza wouldn't even show up, being that Tanjiro was not going to the Mugen Train in the first place. And on top of that, it would lead us to Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke heading off to the Entertainment District arc, where this would be the first true fight with an Upper Moon, but also the true first death of an Upper Moon as well, with Daki and Gyutaro obviously having a massive disadvantage against Tanjiro and the group, because yes, they have a Hashira standing beside them, but they also have Zenitsu, who outclasses Daki by a mile. So when this is all occurring, and when Daki is fighting against them, and also Gyutaro, it seems as if Tanjiro and Tengen are able to handle Gyutaro pretty well, but Zenitsu continues to cut the neck off of Daki on repeat over and over again, until Tanjiro and Tengen would eventually cut the neck off of Gyutaro, in which Tengen would look at Tanjiro and ask him if, well, could he have done that sooner if he wanted to? And Tanjiro looks at him and tells him that maybe he should question that himself and think to himself really if that is the truth, or maybe it's false, because he's not going to tell him flat out right. They didn't believe that he was stronger than all the Hashira, but maybe they'll start believing when they see the proof that is going to truly be all around them. And Tengen smiles and he pats him on the shoulder and he apologizes, saying that he didn't mean to bring him down. He didn't mean to make him look small, or, be smaller, or be as, less flashy as he is, because he is flashy. He is awesome. And he tells them that they need someone like him. And if he can take out a demon in a matter of a split second, he should always take the shot. And he basically tells them, like, look, don't worry. I was never going to allow you to get hurt. No one was going to get hurt here. No one was going to get, put in a bad situation. And he would make sure that, everything was going to be fine. But at the same time, he tells them, like, look, I'm here to prove myself to you guys, to everybody, the Hashira, and I'm here to save so many, including my sister. My main goal, number 1, save my sister. Number 2, make sure that this life isn't so shitty after, I do save her. Which, that is a pretty impressive thing for a kid to say, even if he's already like 15, 16, he's still a kid. And Tengen is impressed by this and says that he will have a life, and they will create a life very, very soon for those who need it, for those who are less fortunate, and for those who are weaker than them, and they must protect so that their lives can be happy-go-lucky and progressive as they progress through life, throughout their own life, so they can get better, they can have a better life, they can have more fun, they can have less worries and all those things. And Tengen, this would lead him to basically telling his wives after the defeat of Daki and Gyutaro that he can't retire, and he's sorry, and he wants to, and he loves them, but he can't. And he tells them that this is the case because Tanjiro has opened his eyes that they need to push further and get rid of the demons forever And they will do that. They will get rid of them forever, and they will make sure they stay gone. And he promises when they are gone that he will retire and that he will be back with them, and it will be sooner than you could possibly imagine. And he truly believes that, because he truly believes in the impact of Tanjiro Kamado. And this impact would continue on as they recover at the Butterfly Mansion, or at least keep training at the Butterfly Mansion. And Tanjiro continues training, preparing, and getting even more powerful. And as all this is happening, yes, their Demon Slayer marks are not being revealed because of the lack of Sun Breather, but Tanjiro is continuously making those around him more and more powerful. I mean, mostly the people that have, some sort of connection to him personally, Inosuke, Zenitsu, Tengen, even Rengoku from time to time, because they train together in the, like every so often. And even people that like Giyu especially, and these people that have some sort of connection with him, he grants them abilities of the lightning powers that he holds. And this right here is allowing them to be even more powerful. Yes, it's not a Demon Slayer mark, but it's still power that their blades now hold, and in turn power that they hold as well. And on top of that, Zenitsu himself, I mean, he has been getting more and more powerful beyond imagination, and has definitely entered the fray in terms of level of a Hashira, if not even stronger than most of the Hashira that are even, there, which is pretty insane, pushing him past any limit that you could possibly imagine. And eventually, well, Tanjiro would be sighted back at the Swordsmith's Village excuse me, and they would end up having to fight against Gyoko and Hantengu, or at least Muchiro would, and he would utilize Tanjiro's basically lightning that was gifted to him to truly outclass Gyoko, and they all would kind of jump Hantengu as well, in which Tanjiro would use the lightning of one of the Hantengu kind of clones to his own advantage, and would slay Hantengu with very little effort. The power that Tanjiro holds, seemingly making quick work of some of the strongest demons alive. But that's not the only thing. Not the only thing that is being thought of, because Nezuko, well, she doesn't conquer the sun here because there is no moment for her to enter the sun. Everybody, they keep training, preparing, and getting stronger and stronger, believing that if Muzan does show up, they will take him down. But he doesn't show. He doesn't show his face. It seems that there is something holding him back, something that makes him afraid. It seems like Tanjiro Kamado makes him afraid, because soon they would have kind of fights with some of these other demons, in turn fighting against someone like Doma or Akaza, or maybe even Kokushibo. But as these fights would ensue, Muzan would show his face to none, and Muzan would be terrified of what Tanjiro Kamado is becoming, waiting for him to get of old age, older and older and older. And as Tanjiro would see the massive decline of demons, and many others would feel safe, and his sister would eventually be cured, it seems as if they think Muzan went into hiding once again, not to be seen by so many. But Muzan is just waiting for Tanjiro to be on death's door, to where he can't do a single thing. And eventually, after 80 years, Tanjiro is sitting on the chair in his home, with no family left over, but a life full of happiness and help and amazing people. And he's sitting there, and Muzan approaches him one last time, telling him that it seems like time has run out for young Kamado, or, well, young in the eyes of Muzan himself, because Muzan is, hundreds and thousands of years old, or hundreds or thousands of years old. And he looks at Tanjiro and tells him that it seems like whatever power was gifted to him just went to waste, because at the end of the day, he was still just a mortal. And he tells him if he just gives himself to become a demon, well, he can live so much longer. And Tanjiro would look up, and he would look at Muzan with eyes that are of a defeated and old man. And as he does, he would smile. And Muzan would ask him, "What the hell do you think you are smiling about?" And Tanjiro responds. He says, "You really think that I'm just a mere mortal? Well, it seems like you were mistaken for a very long time." Which Tanjiro would then have lightning strike the entire place they are in. The entire building, the entire, the whole house gets struck by a giant lightning bolt. As it strikes down, Muzan is kind of crumbled into basically so many different pieces, and Tanjiro stands back up in his peak human form. Tanjiro tells Muzan that he waited for this day, was waiting as long as he had to, watched his loved ones pass on without him to the afterlife, because he knew one day Muzan would show up because he was greedy. He would show up because he believed that he could get rid of Tanjiro when he was older, get rid of Tanjiro when he had nothing left. But what he doesn't understand is that this was a gift from the gods. Tanjiro Kamado became the god of lightning as a gift from the gods themselves to get rid of you, to get rid of Muzan Kibutsuji, because this is divine justice. And as he says this, lightning would begin striking through the buildings once again. Tanjiro would slice him into pieces and drag him out basically in the normal area that is around him. And every time he tries to regenerate, Tanjiro would shock him to his core, obliterating piece after piece, and eventually the sun would rise. And after years and years and years and years of watching his loved ones pass on to the next life, Tanjiro watches as Muzan perishes, and he now knows that they are all safe. Everyone else, every single person around the world can now be safe from the horrible, disgusting, and absolutely malicious Muzan Kibutsuji. And luckily enough, the rest of the world can now know what peace truly feels like, and the rest of the generations can live life without even knowing of what happened in the past. And Tanjiro Kamado, well, he can see he can basically watch his grandkids, his kids, his grandkids, and so many more generations grow up from the background and live on in this world, believing that if he is here, and as long as he stands here, and as long as he keeps his guard up, that one day if something comes back, someone comes back, or a horrible thing is done, he is here to protect them and future generations from being hurt. And that is the one thing Tanjiro in his life could have, never gone away from, because he is a protector and he wants to protect those in need as much as possible. And he has many others that are demons, yes, but many others that are here for the same thing, from your Lady Tamayos to your Yushiros, and those demons that are good, to help out as much as possible and watch over the future generations that Earth may truly have. Now, with that said, that is the end of this video, the end of this what if Tanjiro was the god of lightning. And if you guys enjoyed, show some love, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.